Over the course of a few minutes, this video explains the core characteristics of a successful Agile Transformational Program. The topics we shall cover are program makeup, value stream mapping, transformational aims and goals, roadmap and blueprint definition, execution strategy and governance, transformational checklist. Each organizational transformational journey consists of several interlinked work streams, each led by a specific function within the organization. The first work stream is led by the Transformational Office. The second is led by the Transformational Team. The third is led by the Agile Center of Excellence. And finally, individual Agile teams will be formed and mobilized from the wider organization's resource pool with the support of an agility coach. The Transformational Office works with the leadership and the transformational sponsors to define a series of transformational strategic goals where it is believed the development of an organizational agility capability will bring about significant benefits. The types of strategic goals which we typically see are: optimize production to drive down operational costs, streamline support services, enhance the entire customer engagement and sales journey, bring to market a new offering in lightning pace against a backdrop of a more turbulent marketplace. Collaboration between the Transformational Office and the leadership and the transformational sponsors via a number of value stream mapping sessions help define a set of organizational objectives and key results. Finally, a quarterly business review cycle will be established to oversee the tracking of these OKRs. Once the Transformational Office has established a dedicated Agile Transformational Team, they'll take on responsibility for defining their own Transformational OKRs that help the design and implementation of the Transformational Roadmap, which brings about the creation of the organizational blueprint. As we shall cover in more detail shortly, one of the key members of the Agile Transformational Team is the Agility Lead. The Agility Lead leads the Agile Center of Excellence, which carries responsibility for designing a suitable agility training program, constantly monitoring the performance of the adoption process, measuring agile maturity and coordinating improvements back to the transformational team. Furthermore, the Agile Center of Excellence plays an important role in the design of specific agile roles, for example, Scrum Master, and the selection and appointment of the appropriate career development pathways. Agility coaches, who are members of the Agile Center of Excellence, are assigned to newly formed Agile teams as they're stood up across the organization. The Agility coach takes on responsibility for overseeing the adoption of the core characteristics of the blueprint within the organizational new structure. As the infographic suggests, the size and relationship between the Transformational Team and the Agile Center of Excellence changes over the course of the Transformational Program. The final position typically taken up by the Agile Center of Excellence as the organization settles into a sustained phase is an autonomous one as the major transformational objectives and key results are met. As such, the aim of the Agile Center of Excellence will be to maintain an optimum level of agility across the organization by providing a number of service offerings into business entities, for example tools selection and usage, enhance ways of working, re-engineering, performance analysis and optimization, all supported with an ongoing Agile capability and maturity assessment schedule. An Agile Transformational Program product backlog typically consists of 3 core topics. A transformational plan consists of a variety of activities that ensure effective communication of the program's objectives and status, including early wins and use cases, the tracking and reporting of the overall progress of the Agile transformation to organizational stakeholders, and where and when necessary monitoring the organization's overall Agile maturity. An Agile Transformational Cross-Discipline Team is formed to take on responsibility for the design, creation and publication of the organizational blueprint. The selection of a suitable Agile transformational model will be required to help define the scope of the transformation and help track progress to the to-be-designed state. A successful cross-discipline team consists of representation from people and culture, who are responsible for ensuring the transformation changes the DNA of the organization and creates a continuous learning environment. A successful cross-discipline team consists of legal and financial management representation, who lead the tasks for the designing, building and adoption of a series of transformational model components, including lean budgeting and associated governance frameworks and procurement practices. It should also include representation from facilities who take ownership of the layout of offices and the supply of new equipment to allow Agile teams to co-locate and collaborate with ease. A successful cross-discipline team consists of representation from the Agile Center of Excellence. The Agility Lead works closely with the Agile community of experts on the design and development of such deliverables as ways of working, promoting customer centricity, tool selection and deployment, and most importantly the fresh approach to requirements management, product lifecycle management and the associated ceremony cadence. Digital and IT services should also be represented in the cross-discipline team, who collaborate with the Agile Center of Excellence, helping the identification, deployment and support of the necessary digital tools to support the new ways of working. A change management representative is engaged throughout the entire program and using multiple channels will ensure there is a constant flow of communication about the program is shared with the organization to drive up awareness and engagement. A successful cross-discipline team also includes representatives from the Learning and Training Department. Their responsibilities includes the creation and delivery of a wealth of new resources, including training course material, self-help guides, tutorials, online videos and the selection and engagement of external accredited vendors to promote certification. Once a cross-discipline transformational team has been formed, one of their first actions is the selection and publication of a suitable transformational model. Too often transformational programs commence without first agreeing on the scope of the transformation, which ensures the transformational team defines the boundaries of the transformation, adopts a common language and clear activity ownership, creates a clear view on the level of change being planned. Transformational teams should support the Transformational Office as they collaborate with their leadership and transformational sponsors on a number of value stream mapping exercises. These value stream mapping activities will illustrate, analyze and prioritize the organizational change opportunities needed to support the underlying strategic goals, which the organization will cascade down to the portfolio and agile teams. The output from these value stream mapping activities also feed into the transformational team's own OKRs to provide some performance criteria for its own roadmap. A new organizational blueprint becomes the primary deliverable of the transformational team, typically consisting of new organizational characteristics, such as organizational model, how people are organized, collaborate and the skills they require. Operating model defines the new ways of working, adopted throughout the entire life cycle. Facilities and technology, the changes necessary to the working environment and the tools used throughout the life cycle. Governance and practices ensure the effective execution, reporting and scaling of both technical and operational activities. Common transformational OKRs include factors relating to the execution of the pilot program, design and the publication of the initial draft of the blueprint and some of the key learning and training activities that support the personnel changes and transformational resourcing requirements, such as the appointment of agility coaches. One of the most important activities undertaken by the transformational team is the one that determines the order in which elements of the transformational blueprint are created. We recommend the adoption of the House of Quality methodology, which is a tool that identifies and classifies the influence each of the transformational modules have on the objectives and key results, and therefore helping the creation of a transformational roadmap. The Transformational Roadmap provides an indication of when the transformational model will be translated into the organizational blueprint. The Transformational Roadmap will help the designing and scheduling of the pilot program and the future mobilization of agile teams. Whilst the transformational team retains ownership for designing, implementing and measuring the progress of a series of organizational objectives and key results, any number of cross-discipline agile teams will have the responsibility of achieving their own set of objectives and key results. Working from the organizational blueprint, the team will co-own, co-create, co-deliver and co-support their individual offerings, services or solutions, and typically will receive support from a dedicated agility coach during the initial 3 months. The agility coach will be responsible for ensuring the transformational blueprint is understood and adopted correctly, and where necessary provide feedback to the transformational team via the Agility Center of Excellence to constantly enhance the quality of the organizational blueprint and associated training material. As the information graphic shows, it is recommended a minimum of 3 levels of transformational program governance is established. and each of the 3 distinct communities adopt a specific focus and cadence. At an organizational level, the Transformational Office retains responsibility for tracking the progress of the organizational objectives and key results. Working closely with a dedicated transformational team, they will report progress to the organizational leadership and sponsor community. These quarterly governance sessions also enable the program's organizational leadership and sponsor community to make any appropriate changes to the strategic goal, in response to internal performance or external inferences. Should any changes to the organizational OKRs be required, they will cascade down to the transformational team, who will make the appropriate changes to their own OKRs and transformational roadmap. The transformational team needs to establish a monthly ceremony that assesses the progress of the transformational roadmap, which in turn results in the creation of the transformational blueprint. Progress made on the creation of the blueprint and any feedback from the already mobilized Agile teams will influence the Agile Center of Excellence's schedule for mobilizing new Agile teams within the various business units, as well as helping the transformational team update their own roadmap where needed. The most frequent governance ceremony is the one held by the Agile Center of Excellence. The session focuses on assessing the performance of existing mobilized Agile teams. In particular, their progress towards meeting their own portfolio and team objectives and key results. Furthermore, regular capability and maturity assessments help the Agile Center of Excellence establish the suitability of the current team mobilization schedule. The assessment also reveals any challenges the individual teams are facing and helps socialize any emerging best practices. As we approach the end of the presentation, here's a transformational program checklist. 1. Strategic goals are transformed into Organisational OKRs by the Transformational Office. 2. The Transformational Office has established a cross-disciplined transformational team. 3. The transformational team has selected a transformational model to help define the scope of the to-be blueprint. 4. Having selected a suitable transformational model, the team has created a transformational roadmap. 5. The Agile Center of Excellence support the organization mobilize a number of cross-discipline Agile teams. 6. A 3-level tier governance framework has been established. During this video we have explained the characteristics of a successful Agile Transformational Program journey. We have specifically covered the following points. Transformational Program ownership. Key characteristics of a successful transformational program structure. Importance of adopting a mature organizational transformational model on which to develop the blueprint. How value stream mapping is used to define a series of objectives and key results. How to create and prioritize a transformational model roadmap. Ownership and core components of an organizational blueprint. Key characteristics of an effective transformational execution strategy. Ownership of the transformational governance framework. We then concluded with a quick transformational checklist. We hope that you have found this presentation helpful. Please like the video to help us promote the sharing of such best practices. For more information, please visit www.monetical.com. Thank you for watching.